It's good. It's good. I've never heard that, but that's the origin of Cap. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look. There's a principle that
we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have.
Be true to yourself. You don't have.
And when I came back, the place was a mess. So I knew I was a mess.
Deep in here now. Now
It's incredible.
I love it.
Me
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And applying the recovery out there.
All right, welcome to the McShin Foundation's Get in the Herd podcast here in Richmond, Virginia. We want to do a quick shout out to our sponsors. Up first is the Seed Institute. Seed Institute. If you have any questions about trying to get some trainings, they specialize in trainings, and they also help individuals start their own LLCs. They specialize in startup businesses. They are minority owned as well. So reach out to them, 804-939-0541. And then next up, we have the Farley Center. That was my angel on my shoulder there. We have the Farley Center. They are a treatment center located in Williamsburg, Virginia. If you have any loved ones or anyone that needs some services for substance use disorder and or mental health, give them a call. They have a detox and they take commercial insurances. 804-638-7329. Kelly Eason is the name of their coordinator. Give them a call, the Farley Center. Thank you, Farley Center, for that sponsorship. And then up next, we have Rooted Hair Studios. They are located in Colonial Heights, Virginia. If you give them a call and mention McShin, you'll get 10% off your next hairdo. So go on, get your hair done. Rooted Hair Studio, 804-919-3851. They are located in Colonial Heights, Virginia, and they are locally owned as well. So they're not a commercial brand studio. They're locally owned. So give them a call, 804-919-3851. Mention code McShin, get 10% off. And then we have one last sponsor who wanted to remain anonymous. So we do want to shout them out for that sponsorship. They sponsored the podcast. So I don't have anything to sponsor. I don't have anything to say for them.
Lunch today.
Yes, but we do want to shout them out and say, thank you for that. And we appreciate that. And we appreciate all of our sponsors. And with that, we are going to get into our next episode. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, keep it just like that.
Yo, good afternoon, VA. I'm sitting here with the favorite Martian.
What's up, everybody out there in the ether? It's your favorite Martian with your favorite astronaut.
And,
Two astronauts.
Well,
no, Steve's a Martian.
Steve wants to be a Martian.
Definitely a Martian.
He don't want to be. He is.
Well, that's right.
It wasn't a
And
choice. It wasn't a choice.
Us astronauts.
We never had a choice.
we take the Martians and we run tests on them.
Yeah. All the kind of tests you're thinking about.
What's that one UFO movie when the one guy gets abducted? It's supposed to be a true story.
Oh yeah. About that guy. You know that guy that got abducted? His name was Travis.
Travis.
Yeah.
I seen him on. He came on the what's his name? Podcast.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and was talking about it and how the ship looked and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But he was, the aliens did a bunch of tests on him.
Yeah, could have been a real case. I got this whole thing where you notice how they can never get like a real close up on the aliens. It's always just kind of like a light moving around and stuff like that.
Well, you ain't seen that new stuff. They said they got it now.
Yeah, I've seen the new stuff, but I'm always like, NASA and the whole hoax. I'm always like, it's a CGI or something. It was more believable when you could barely see it, because then I started thinking like not superheroes, but maybe angelic beings or something like that, because you could never, and they moved like nothing else.
So what is your theory?
I think they're angelic beings, or like I think they're spiritual beings.
So you think they're from heaven
or hell. Or Middle Earth, whatever. I don't know for sure, but I think just by the movement and how you can never get like a clear vision, and how they'll just fly around ships and stuff like that. Maybe it's just like a something showing itself, an appearance, which in all spiritual cultures, there's been like appearances where they make themselves known to
Mhm.
humans. Like every spiritual text, you know, the Bible,
Mhm.
the Quran, and so on and so forth. Something is made known to people where they break the plane, the spiritual plane, and in all spiritual texts like that, also that it's always like mentioned that the unseen world is more material than the real world. So like there's stuff all around you, and all this is kind of getting backed up by science too, with the vibrational theories and stuff like that. So it's like science sometimes.
Are you looking past me?
No, I was looking at Steve too in a conversational.
That's
Because
what I
Steve was
thought.
looking at me
I felt like
intently.
you're looking at Steve.
I was trying to give y'all both an eye. You know what I mean? But my like
Can
my,
you do
my,
that? Can
my-
you
yeah,
look
I
one
wish
and
I
the
could
other?
like chameleon eye both of y'all.
Like off that. Steve, do you think there's aliens out there, or do you think it's angelic beings?
I don't know what they are, but there's something out there.
I think it's aliens. I think there's other planets out there.
It could be. I mean, I think there's other worlds and other dimensions, and this is mentioned clearly in like even most spiritual texts, even the big one, you know, the big one to me. So like maybe it's not technology, maybe it's just like being viewed as technology through our modern eyes, you know. But I think this is stuff that like ancient cultures knew about like this whole time, but we're so
They
You
used
know-
to write, didn't they? It was all over the walls, and
Yeah, I've seen that.
yeah, the more and more we get like sanitized and McDonaldized, that's what I think like America is now.
Hold on, let me make sure I'm following. Sanitized.
Yeah, it's like we're like whitewashed to be so distracted with technology and everything like that. I mean, when's the last time you really like went outside and looked up at the sky?
This is coming from the new TikTok star, Steve.
That's
Yeah, well,
right.
you know, like I dip my toes everywhere. Well, I am American. I'm just saying.
So are
I'm
you
taking a
being-
look at
So
it.
are you being sanitized?
I feel like I have been whitewashed and sanitized and programmed to believe and see the world in a certain light. I mean, you know, I haven't had the advantage of like world travel, but I feel like, you know, other cultures are more like
Have you-
steeped and closer to
Have you
spirituality.
traveled out?
That's what I'm saying. I
where-
haven't had the
where-
advantage to do that.
So what about you, Steve? Have you been outside the states?
Oh no, barely.
Barely?
I'm like a native creature here.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, a lot of
where have
people
you-
never even travel like, you know,
Out of the
100,
state they live
200.
in?
Yeah. Some people not even in their neighborhoods. And this isn't like a new thing because before there was like transportation, it said most people live their whole lives without even going 50 miles away from their residence.
I
Right,
love
right.
traveling. I want to.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do when I retire. Just travel.
Oh yeah.
But hopefully, like I'll retire when I'm still like in good physical condition. But it just the retirement age just gets pushed back so much.
Yeah. Well, you know, you want to have a purpose after you retire too, because they say, you know, the
Purpose
leading
would be-
cause of death is retirement.
Yes.
no purpose. Well, I mean, you're getting old. But my
Yeah.
purpose would be to go see every.
Yeah, I was
Other
going to
trips.
ask you. So, I mean, since we're talking about that, you did have the advantage of going to vacation in Hawaii, and
I
I
did.
mean, did you find like, because I mean, that's a island steeped in a different culture per se
Yeah.
than the American, even though it's part of America, but they have their traditions and their cultures and their spiritual beliefs. I'm sure. I mean, did you witness anything like that that was like out of the norm of like the mainland United States and the way we look at things?
You know, I there was a little. I mean, I went to a couple meetings, you know, and was able to experience a 12-step meeting there, and seen some of the culture kind of within the meeting. You know, we met right out on the beach. But Hawaii is very, very tourism.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
going to
it's
say. They
very-
kind of got
they- yeah, they-
McDonaldized because
And
of
I think,
tourism.
yeah, and I think that kind of made a lot of the people, the culture, the Hawaiians, and I think it's Polynesian. There's a whole bunch of culture mixed in there. But we were able to go and and do some touring and like get some of the history of it. It was pretty cool. But it's a beautiful island. I love. That's where they filmed the dinosaur movies.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
else got filmed there? Dog the Bounty Hunter. Big Dog the Bounty Hunter. Big
I
mullet
didn't really
fan,
watch.
bro.
I wasn't really a fan. That,
Me neither, but you
I
know.
think I maybe watched it once or twice, and I was like, I don't like this bounty.
I mean, how can you not like cowboy boots and a mullet? I mean, it reminded me of my Uncle Ronnie. And secondly,
Well, you know who tried to be like a bounty hunter bondsman.
the old Howard. Shout out to
Howard.
Howard. And whenever you watch this, he was so proud of his shot.
I remember he went and took like a class, and he was like, "I'm gonna do this," and then I would call him, and I'd get him to bomb me out, and I would like run.
Yeah, he had the
come
bonding
find
out
me.
part, right? But the chasing you down part. I mean, unless it was on a mountain, then he would get down there
yeah,
first.
yeah.
One time, I think he called me up and said, "Please, man, Please turn yourself in.
Yeah, check this out. So a while ago, if anybody's been watching us, me and Jesse did a thing like on our favorite spiritual principles. His was honesty, and at the time I picked willingness. And so like as your recovery grows, like your idea of these words shift and change and evolve. And I seen this study I heard this study on a podcast. It was a neuro scientist or a neuro doctor, and he said, and there's a brain structure inside your head called the anterior cingulate cortex, right? And he said that
like straight to your cerebral cortex.
and anterior cingulate cortex. And so this part of the brain, now there's been like long-term study data on it that it proves that when you do something that you don't want to do, but it's productive, this structure in your brain actually grows. And they find that it's like, a little larger in athletes. And it's, it also, when the people get older, it actually controls their will to live. So, I mean, it gives them a more drive of a will to live. So this actually like sparked me back to my idea of willingness. So, and this applies to recovery too, because I found with myself and other people, like, if you're working like a conventional, a pathway, NAAA, whatever, there's like meetings and things associated with it that you don't want to do. And so just based off this study, like if you're sitting at home and you have to go to a meet, or it's like you need to go to your home group, but you don't want to, or you've picked this pathway. So like you picked it, but you're still on the fence. Like, I don't really feel like going to a meeting, or I really don't feel like calling my sponsor. Well, like if you pick yourself up and willing to go and do it, there's a part of your brain that grows, and it actually won't shrink.
Yeah.
And so like they did the study kind of like on people that like are trying to diet, and then they don't want to, but they actually do it. This structure in your brain grows. Or if you are like, I'm going to go to the gym, and this is why it's kind of larger in athletes too, and you're like, I want to do this, but I don't want to go to the gym, but you go anyway. This part of your brain grows. And so like being willing to do something positive, I mean, based off this study, actually grows your brain and your will to live. And that changed my whole perception on willingness.
Made you want to go even harder with the willingness piece, right?
Yeah. I was like, I knew this was a reason it was my
Yeah.
favorite spiritual principle. It actually affects you biologically and spiritually.
And they told me early on, they were like, this is what I learned from the predecessors. Willingness is the foundation of all growth. Right. And it's funny, ties into like growing, the brain growing. For us spiritually, willingness is the foundation of growth. Physically, being willing is the foundation of growth. I don't know. I would be interested if this is like in Google, Steve, if you got your little something over there. But I've heard that like there's so much of the brain that has not been even like not discovered, but they just don't know what it does.
Yeah, and
there's so many parts of the brain. That
and also, this has been a general thing that I've heard all my life. Like most humans use like 3 to 5% of their brain.
Yeah, and the rest they don't even know what it does.
And here, but based off this study now, just by showing like being willing or practicing willingness, you start tapping in and growing a whole brain structure. So that to me would suggest that you're using more of your brain.
That is, I mean, that's just the word I want to use, man. That's all. I mean, it's like wow, and I'm with you, man. It makes me want to go harder, like, hey, what am I willing to do tomorrow? This reminds me this morning. I woke up. I've been waking up every morning around like 5:45, 5:50. I used to be a little bit earlier than that when I was doing CrossFit, but I've kind of stopped doing CrossFit. But I go to the gym, and I stayed up late last night watching Chicago PD. Shout out to the Chicago PD fans.
Oh, the old PD, don't they?
You ever watch that show?
They got the MD and the FD.
Yeah, they got all those. They got the fire department.
I gotta admit, the police department one's probably more like grimy. Yeah, I like it.
That's my dude on there.
Yeah, them 2 old guys. Those are the guys. Yeah.
So I went to sleep late, and I didn't want to wake up this morning. But like what you're talking, like I was like, man, let me what am I willing to do? You know, the growth piece, man. And so now that I know that, it's going to spark me to want to do it even more in the mornings when I don't want to wake up and I just want to keep sleeping. Like, I'm going to get up and do it.
Yeah, I like the way. And if you just think about it simply, like after you did it, did you feel better? Just
Yeah,
period.
you know, and I was fighting through it, but I got a good workout in, did some shoulders and then did a little bit of cardio. Then took a cold shower. Cold shower is my new thing. I just bought an ice bath.
Yeah, I was about to say the ice bath is getting very popular. I know
well-
Joe Rogan is like, you know, he lives and dies by it.
Well, I'm telling you, I did it the other day at one of our I went and, you know, did some coaching, you know, had a meeting with one of our board members, and real cool guy. He likes to work out, does what I do, and he has an ice bath at his house, and I did the ice bath, and that thing was awesome. And that was my first time ever doing, because they didn't really have that when I was sports. It wasn't
Right.
popular back then.
Yeah,
Like, you know, not on the high school level, maybe college, maybe NFL more.
yeah.
But I did that, and I was like, man, I've been taking these ice showers, but that ice bath was something else.
Mhm.
And from there, I was like, I'm going to get one. So this is what I went and did. I was going to build one. Honestly, his husband was going to help me build one, but I said, let me go the cheap route first. And
Of
so-
course.
yeah. so
Shocking.
So,
It's in a container. It's
yeah.
nice.
Well, I bought one off Amazon, right? And it's
Kiddie pool. With
it's you got to come get it, man. I'm gonna put it together this weekend. So I bought one. I bought that, and I bought a sauna. And they're both
What?
cheap. Yeah, they're cheap. They're cheap ones, right? It's cool though. So it's a sauna and an ice bath.
and one
No. Two. I haven't. The sauna hasn't arrived yet.
is this like the set? Because I've seen these in houses before. Some of them vary in sizes. Is this like a
It's not a wood
phone
one.
booth
It's
size
not-
situation?
It's probably gonna be like a phone booth size. I think it's a little bigger because it said it could fit 2 people in there. It's gonna be you're gonna have to sit. You can't stand in it. If you stand, you know, it's probably I think it was like maybe 6 feet maybe or something height wise. So it's more of a sitting one, but it's not wood. It's like you got to put it together with some poles, and then I think it has like some type of cloth,
Mm.
and then it's
This
a
sounds like
steamer.
like a Native American type situation.
Yeah,
going on
I
here.
mean, it's probably gonna be delicate. You can't go in there and be all rough, just like the ice bath. So, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I want to do that.
I'll
ice
try it out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
the
just-
sauna. You know what I mean?
bath. Yeah, that's my thing. The sauna. I like the ice bath too. Now that I did it, man.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked to do that. But that's my morning ritual. And when you talk about like that thing you're talking about in the brain and how being willing and that growth piece.
Mhm.
It was like last night when I left out here because we last night was a late night for our community meeting, and left after the community meeting, and I was like, man, I just want to go home and sit on the couch. But what am I willing to do, right?
Mhm.
The growth. And so I went to my home group, and I go to this meeting. Let me tell you what it was talking about. It was a really good topic, right? And for everybody out there that's listening, anybody that's incarcerated, we love y'all. Anybody else in the community, man, we love y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, hit that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share, comment. We'll try to answer those comments, the best we can, but just get on there, get this material out there. But for those that are incarcerated, man, what the topic was, a spiritual principle a day. And the reading was talking about empathy. So the spiritual principle was empathy. And what it talked about was, being incarcerated. And so as I was reading it, it talked about, there's meetings that'll go to individuals incarcerated. And, and then it talks about the path that led us to being incarcerated, or that while we're incarcerated, and it said this word that I'm used to hearing in recovery. And it was like, we had predecessors that led us to very deep, dark places. And I was like, wait, hold on. I was like, what do you mean? Because I always thought predecessors were good people.
Right.
And then later on in the reading, it talked about later we found some predecessors that led us to health, led us to recovery. Right. And so it sparked me to get to thinking about when I first got locked up. My first little bid, I got sent. I was at Riverside Regional Jail, and I think I had like 3 and some change. I didn't do all that. I got 85% or whatever it was. And I was going to a receiving unit. This was like before you went down. I think I went down, and you went down after when I got out.
Yeah.
I was 18, and I got sent up to Camp 30, Fairfax. Remember Fairfax?
Yeah, Fairfax.
Right. So I get sent up there. I don't know if any of y'all listening incarcerated ever remember Camp 30, Fairfax. They shut it down.
Yeah,
Though. It was
tore it down
receiving,
now,
receiving unit. But this is my mindset, right? So I get there, I'm 18, 19. I'm 19 now because I've turned 18, 19, 20, 21 all in a row. So I'm 19 years old, and I get there, right? And I'm thinking, because y'all, and I know y'all do this, right? When you're locked up, everybody talks about, oh man, like, do you got a state number? Have you been to the Department of Corrections?
Yeah, like it's a badge of
yeah, like it's a badge of courage, or like what jail did you ever been to Richmond City?
Yeah,
Any
the
of
old city jail.
Yeah, so like all those were like badges of little notches on our belts,
Belt.
right? And so when I finally made it to the receiving unit, I was like, yeah, I got me a state number, and I get there, and it had it had the gun tower, it had the yard, and no, it wasn't no penitentiary, but it was a Department of Corrections.
It was a prison.
Yeah, and it was a prison, and I thought I was the coolest dog there. I thought I was cool as heck, man.
Yeah.
And
I finally made it.
Yeah, I made it. I
I'm
can't.
the pinnacle of my.
And then in Trav, Steve, let me tell you, right? And this is what am I thinking, right? And so back then, this is how I tell you like how long ago it was. So they had Walkmans. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
They had Walkmans,
Yeah.
right? And so I ordered a Walkman off Canteen. And I thought it was cool because it won't like the jail where they brought the canteen to you. You went up to the canteen store and ordered your stuff. So it just was all the stuff that made you think that you was like, you sure enough made it. And this is the sick thinking, man. I'm really thinking like, oh man, I made it, man. I'm the man.
I'm on the yard.
Yeah. And I get the Walkman and I'm listening, and Jay-Z had a song out called Big Pimpin'. So I don't know when that was, 2000 something, right? And Big Pimpin' was playing, and I'm walking down, and I'm thinking I'm the coolest dude smoking, right? And this is what the predecessors that I had followed, because everybody I had followed, that's what they did. They made it seem cool. They made it seem like you was the man if you made it.
Yeah. A sign of your toughness. I made it here. I made it there. I survived the big bad wolf.
Right. Couldn't wait to get home to tell all y'all about it, right?
Yeah,
So
what's
they're on
up
the-
now?
Yeah. Yeah, I got that state number. What?
Yeah. I'm in the club. Little did you know it.
Yeah. And that's the predecessors that they were talking about in that reading, man. Like it's I had people that I followed, like I mimicked, and followed that stuff, man, and thought it was cool, thankful, man. There's been, I was able to find some other people.
There were some light side predecessors also. Yeah. Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah. That was
yeah, because that is true, bro. I think I felt that same way too. Because everybody wanted to. Well, we were halfway street kids, and we wanted to be perceived as hard and everything like that.
Yeah.
And what a pin to put on your vest. Oh, I've been down the road.
Can't tell me nothing.
Uh-huh.
Man.
Yeah, receiving and the yard, bro.
Yeah. I think it was like Pat. There was this guy that we used to remember bald headed.
Oh
Pat,
yeah, old Pat.
Yeah, cool. He passed away.
Yeah, dude. Rest in peace, Pat.
Yeah, he taught me how to shoot dope, man. It's pretty bad. First person, older guy. But I remember listening to him talk about his little prison stories, right? And like that was the stuff that I was like, oh man, this one cool dude. The predecessors that you're, man, they make it look attractive. Yeah,
man.
right.
Especially coming from you don't know anything, you know what I mean, about the world at large, and you're thinking, man, these dudes are cool as hell. They got the tattoos, and they're all like just seem tough, and damn, what an illusion though. But boy, they make it look good though.
They did.
And then you strive to do the same thing. Yeah.
Follow those footsteps, man. I remember Squid. Remember Squid? Man?
I thought he was the coolest bro.
thing.
Squid.
And he was,
Yeah. His name was Squid.
And this is my man, right?
Squid.
Yeah. He might be listening.
What's up, Squid?
I was locked up with Squid one time, man, and like we were in jail together. This was before I got sent off to Mecklenburg. The next time I got sent to Mecklenburg, and we were kicking it, right? And and he got to talking. He's got that voice, and he got to talking, and he got to telling me about being at Red Onion, and again, predecessor, right?
Yeah.
I was like, damn, you made it to Red Onion?
Yeah, that's a level
That's
6
like,
prison.
yeah,
Anyway, that's the top of the top, the worst of the worst. Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there kicking with him. I'm like, oh man. And then like what's crazy? That's what I was like, oh man.
You ready to turn up?
I gotta do this. What do I gotta do to be like this guy, man?
What do I got to get to 23 and 1?
23 and 1 lockdown.
Lockdown. The shower gets rolled up to your cell.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
picturing like SpongeBob.
Yeah, man.
That's that sick. thinking, man, and those people, man, and like not that they're bad people, man, because they probably did the same thing.
Yeah, it was just the way they if they were like perceived as a predecessor to you or I, then they had one too. They had some or multiple. Well, what a good lesson to learn, though, actually. And if you can catch that early, I mean, in recovery, there's there's all kind of sayings, and one of them, and a lot of them, they're good sayings. You just hear them so much, you become kind of like accustomed or immune to them. But a big one is, stick with the winners, or what you perceive as a winner, and so that would be your first predecessor to see, like walking in the footsteps of somebody who's something that's attractive to you. If you've gone through like what me and Jesse have gone through and kind of had that same experience, then you can model if you're having a hard time finding your own way, just like if you were a lost kid and you had predecessors that sound similar to what he just explained. Then checking out people that are lived that life and now found a better way to do it. You want to key in on that, and I'm not saying you gotta imitate their every move, but a good suggestions from them are just seeing people that are walking the walk. It's a good thing to keep your eye on if you're having a hard time finding your own way. Well, how did somebody else do it? And somebody that's living it and walking it and talking it, it's not a bad suggestion.
Yeah. What's that saying, y'all, where it talks about like, look at your 5 closest friends, and that's who.
Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Yeah, it's your
something
future.
like that,
your 5 closest friends is the future, and like think of like then the people we were running with, man.
A lot of them not here anymore. A lot of
just a lot of stuff, man. It was just like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, and again, it's no fault of theirs, but it's ironic how in recovery it talks about, like you said, get with the winners, get with the people who are doing something for the recovery, man. And think about like here when we're here, y'all, like the peer loads and the people we see, like the participants here, like the ones that are making it and doing it, and the ones that aren't. Typically, and they're there's plenty, like there's probably more that aren't doing anything for the recovery, and that's what I tell them, like, man, who you want to be around, who to be around, because you'll see it's like they it kind of it'll either fizzle out or like the seriousness of it. That's a tricky part of the disease too, man. That I got it part,
so you're good.
A lot of
don't need nothing. I got it, right?
Yeah. Like your drive will fizzle out, and you'll be like, oh, I don't have to do something. I don't have to practice willingness. The meetings are, you know what I mean? They're not doing anything for me no more. A lot of times, I don't want to call my sponsors. These are like ones I hear a lot. I don't want to call my sponsor. It's not doing anything for me. You don't answer the phone. I don't want to get into step work because I don't want to write anything down or do homework. And like how we started this out, like willingness, just those things right there are going to help will help me grow spiritually, and come to find out it'll help me grow biologically too.
Yeah.
And the end of that study said that when you get older, it will increase, willingness will increase your will to live as you get older. And you spoke of retirement, so like and it being the number one cause of death.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? A little willingness will stave that off, bro.
Yeah. Like,
I think you might be secure,
retire, right?
When
you retire, what are you willing to do?
And the willingness that you showed previously is adding on to your will to live. It's all adding up. It's all bricks in the wall. Little Pink Floyd reference.
There you go.
And I think we covered some good ground here, bro.
Y'all too. And now we're gonna start talking about or what's the daggone movie or the book, the movie y'all were talking about last time, 19.
No. We were talking about A Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange. That's what I'm talking about.
We're big Stanley Kubrick fans.
Yeah.
You don't have no idea who we're talking about, but
I do. I watched the movie.
You know what else? You know what other movie? There's a movie that Stanley Kubrick did that I
watched that one too.
Which one?
Leaving in Lab.
No, I'm not talking about that one.
Oh, okay, which the other one?
I'm talking about he did a little film. Not only did he do The Shining, but he did a little film that's one of the most heavily quoted. I mean, in my life. Personally,
maybe with your.
I'm telling you, you've quoted this movie.
What movie is it?
Full Metal Jacket.
Okay,
Oh, that's a-
Yeah,
that's a
there we
great
go.
movie.
Yeah.
That was good. Well, see, that was good. Now,
Yeah.
that was good acting. That was good screenplay. That was good, like the whole thing. Now, the
drill sergeant.
the Clockwork Orange, it wasn't good acting. Not only, do you
Oh,
even know?
you-
Do you even know one of the actors in there?
Yeah,
Who?
yeah, I know a lot
Don't
of them.
lie. Don't lie. Can
Yeah.
you name one actor that was in that movie?
I can name the main character that played Alex.
No, who was it? Who was
His
it?
name
Just
is.
stop.
I know his name, bro.
Right there. It's right there.
I know, bro. He played in the Rob's. You got me. I got. Hey, you got me right now. But I know his name. I'm just having a brain.
They probably never acted in another movie in their life.
Oh yeah. He's played in a lot, man. He's played in a lot. He's played in a.
Many of them.
He's played a many movie.
Many of them. Yeah.
Man, you caught me off
Oh, they
guard there.
came and got him after he did that movie.
Yeah,
Took
man.
him away.
Yeah, he played in the new version of Halloween. He was the psychiatrist, man. Yeah.
All right.
All right, y'all.
We getting ready to roll up out of here, man. Hope y'all liked it, man. Look, like, subscribe to the YouTube, man. Give us a call if you need some help or services. You got anybody that needs anything, recovery related, man, call us, man. Hit that 804-249-1845. You can ask for Travis, Steve, myself, man. We're here for to be a service, man.
Yeah, peace. Can't believe you got me right at this.